Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another OSR tabletop live stream with myself, GM Bluddworth, Richard, for those of you that know. And this is the launching of a new live stream series on my channel. It's just going to be simply the old school gaming morning show. I'm planning on doing these every Tuesday and Thursday. Just talking in general about not just the events of the week, but certainly upcoming events and products in the tabletop role-playing hobby. But I am going to include some discussion, if you wish, on anything that is coming out as far as MMOs or other computer games that you're also interested in. Now, my primary focus when I talk about old school is I am talking about anything from the 70s, 80s, and 90s. And with MMOs, it's really the late 90s and early 2000s and going forward. So opened up for any kind of discussion there. It is not going to be a structured, this is all that we're going to be talking about. My live streams tend to go in whatever direction the visitors in the chat bring it to. So, but one of the things I wanted to talk about, and this is somewhat of a response to J. Scott Garibay, who has been going on quite a bit of a tear right now, talking about the Emmy Awards and how he is miffed at the fact that Daggerheart has scored a number, I believe 5 any nominations. These are not wins, these are nominations. And that other game systems out there like Draw Steel and Cosmere receive none. And I'm willing to talk about those things now. I do have Daggerheart, and I've never played it. I've seen it played. I've watched it played. I've had discussions with and interviews with game masters who have run it at conventions. I've read through a good portion of it, not gone through the entire thing because it's really, quite frankly, not the game for me. Although I am happy that I have it on my shelf because it is something that I do believe brings some elements that can be transferred over to other games that you're doing. And I know that one dungeon master a game master at the conventions, what he does is he takes Daggerheart and converts it to, or OSRifies it, converts it to a D&D-esque kind of game system, and I do follow him and see, where he's going on that progression. So it is kind of interesting. Like I said, it's an interesting game system. I don't have that same experience or connection with Draw Steel, and I never will, unless by some chance I find it being run at a convention and there's not something else better for me to do than to sit in and play it for the first time. And the same thing goes for Cosmere. I'm going to switch over and go to chat and see who is in the chat, and I'm going to shift down over here. And I'm doing various different things with the display, and so I'm going to so you'll be able to see everything a lot easier as well. Good morning, Chthonic Musings and Technoblade. Good morning, and Decado. What Garibay doesn't acknowledge is Draw Steel was never entered in the Emmys. Yeah, well, he doesn't mention those things. Now, Draw Steel might come in next year's. But I can almost guarantee you that next year's is going to be dominated by Professor Dungeon Master's game, which just somehow just slipped my mind. Deathbringer. I think Deathbringer is going to run it away. Run away with the nominations. Might not run away with the wins, but it will certainly get a number of nominations. Cosmere won awards at Origins. So at a convention, but I think that the Emmys still, whether you like their methodology or not, the Ennies are still the game awards that some people look to as being a good measure of a game's success. And that doesn't always, and this is the other thing that J. Scott Garibay doesn't understand. They don't use the same metric that he's thinking of. J. Scott Garibay believes that the sales or the crowdfunding numbers, how much it raised, and whether or not you can see it on a bookshelf at a Barnes and Nobles or a Target or a local game shop is the measure of a game system's success. And I'm going to push back on that. And the reason why I'm doing it on my channel is because he has me blocked on his channel. He's welcome to come in here and dispute anything that I say. But, I'm going to talk about each of those things on how, crowdfunding sales doesn't necessarily equate to people actually playing it. There's plenty of Kickstarters that I have backed and I have them on my shelf and I haven't played them yet. And will likely never play them. I have some that it's like they don't deserve the shelf space on my shelf, and I've tucked them off into my closet, and the next time I go to a convention, they're going to be donated. So there are some things on crowdfunding that will never see the light of day. The same holds true with whether or not it's on a bookshelf. Particularly in at like a Barnes and Nobles, right? So you go into Barnes and Nobles and you see a 5e book on the shelf there. That's J. Scott Garabay's key forerunner of everything, right? So I see I see Strixhaven on the shelf there. All right. Nothing about that book being on the shelf says that it's being played. Actually, all of the evidence in the world is that it's not, right? Because that book is sitting on the shelf. You have no way of telling if that book has been sitting there for 18 months. You have no way of telling if it is the 1,000th replacement copy that was put on that shelf. You have no way of telling if somebody takes it home, all right, and looks it through and then returns it, or just throws it in a closet, never to be seen, the light of day. It doesn't matter whether it's on a bookshelf or not. It doesn't matter how much it's sold in the Kickstarter. This is my argument. It really doesn't matter, even if you purchased it and you brought it in your home. It's like, is it being run? Is it being played? Is it something that when you go to a convention, all right, this is my metric now. What do you see at a convention? Is it being run at a convention? Do you have the opportunity to play it at a convention? And when you go to several different conventions, if you start seeing the same game systems being run over and over again, all right, that to me is the true indicator of something that is worthy of being called Game of the Year, all right, or Product of the Year or whatnot. Is it actually being played? And there's evidence of that. I'm going to get to some more of your comments here, and I'm going to certainly open this up for people to join in. But I'm also going to go through the Ennies and see what is up there and what seems to be getting a lot of the votes there. Well, good morning, Robert, by the way. I wouldn't be surprised if many of the judges voting on the Ennies having played these games either. No, they probably haven't. All right. And it is in many ways it's a popularity. All right. It is what is in the, what is being hyped, what is currently being hyped. That's why I say I guarantee you that that Deathbringer is going to have 4 or 5 categories next year, guaranteed. It is the game that everyone is talking about, and and there's pushback here and there on whether or not it's worthy of being backed. Is it a Shadow Dark clone? Is it some of its contributors are not not great ambassadors of the hobby, or certainly not great ambassadors for us here in the OSR. So there's pushback, there's great support and everything. I backed it, and I looked at it and thought to myself, do I want to, because at least one of the people that is a contributor is a true asshole, to be honest with you. And I looked at it and I was like, am I going to withdraw my backing of this? All right, at the $160 level, by the way, am I going to withdraw from this because that one person is associated with it, and not even associated with it in the writing, I guess, or maybe it was just consulting or whatever. And I'll say that's Justin Alexander, just for your purposes out there. I'm also not a big fan of Roll for Combat, and not the individuals, but their practices of where they get their print products from. This game is going to be printed in China, and so you have all of the issues of shipping and tariffs, because there are other elements of this backer kit item that is not just books. It's going to be a box. It's going to be various things that don't fall under the book tariff clauses. That roughly the 10% or 7 to 10% tariff. It's going to push it into a higher level, and then you get the shipping delays and all of that kind of stuff going on too. I would have much rather had seen some indication that they have learned from their past, total mishaps, many on their own, on their own false judgment or faulty judgment, and said, no, we're going to have this printed in the United States, even if it is a larger cost, because it's going to be cheaper shipping anyway, and more reliable. On top of that, are they still going to use diamond distributors? I mean, who are they using as a distribution? Because they've foobarred that too, and went with companies that are getting phased out. So it just, I don't like that association with it. But when I looked at my backing pledge at it, and I saw that it was within the first 48 hours, and so it was the early bird special and everything, I was like, you know what? For $40 a month for the next 4 months, once it's finalized, I says I can handle I can handle all of those other issues, and so I kept it there. But I do see that as being the game system that is going to get the most ENnie awards next year. Probably win the most next year as well. But anyway, let me get to some more of your comments, and then I'm going to open this up. He often claims Shadow Dark is a failure because it's not on the shelves or at FLGS's. They are not on his local gigs because they are actually comic book shops. Well, yeah, he's those small shops. I'm going to tell you this, and I have friends that have card shops, and they are card shops, comic shops. Wizards of the Coast, Hasbro enforces a near monopoly on if you want to carry MTG, Magic the Gathering, all right, and get those advanced box sales and all of that kind of stuff. If you want to get those, you must carry most of your shelf space, must be dedicated to D&D 5th edition. All right. And you don't get one without the other. And you can't, if you ever walk into a small deli or something like that, it's like you'll never see Coca-Cola and Pepsi next to one another. They have to be separated by far. And one might even be a much larger space than the other. And that's the same thing with these comic book card shops, because they make all their money from cards, because comics are losing money as well. So they make all their money on cards. And so they can't afford to get that pulled from them. They can't afford to lose Magic the Gathering, all right, because they want to put more Dragon Slayer RPG or Chalt or or any other of those game systems, or even OSC or Shadow Dark on the shelf that takes up more shelf space than what is dedicated to 5e. The other thing is, and I know for a fact, because I've spoken to the owners, that those 5e books, maybe not the new ones when they first come out. Yes, they do sell a couple of those, but their core books back from 2024, 2025, those books have been sitting there for a long time. They don't move, but they have to keep them on the shelf. They can't return them as unsold or even damaged or anything like that. They're stuck with them. And they just sit there and we're like, all right, I'm going to keep them on the shelf, unsold, probably not going to sell for the next, year and a half. And I'm still getting my Magic the Gathering in exchange. Hey, Mobius, how's it going? And thank you, Doodle Squatch, for the 10 gold coins. Thank you very much. And I don't know how to display those. Oh, you'll see them right in front of you. Yeah, that's why I put the display up here. And comics, the only paper medium that doesn't know it's dead yet. Yeah, I mean, it's and there's some comics out there that I actually do enjoy. I still like the Jim Zub Conans, which I think are fine. But I haven't bought them in quite a while because, it's just not a hobby I'm into any longer. But I did buy the first handful of them. Could I end up buying some of those again? Probably, if I set foot into a comic book store for whatever reason. But yeah, it's the, with Diamond Distributors going under, I don't know how they're going to distribute anymore. And that's the other thing. A lot of them are going to direct sales, which is another thing that Scott doesn't understand. Jay Scott, I should say. Garibay doesn't understand. Is that, these games are selling direct. These game systems or they might be on Amazon, and Amazon doesn't track sales like the bookstores do. Wizards of the Coast wants to sell direct through D&D Beyond. All right. And they're certainly not going to release their numbers there either. So there's less of a chance of you seeing things on a comic book shop, in a comic book shop, or even a game shop, which there are very few of those, because people are buying them directly. I remember him talking about, I've gone to 5 stores and they didn't have Daggerheart. It was like, order them, for Christ's sakes. It took me like 3 weeks to get mine because I ordered it direct from Darrington Press. To claim, this game isn't selling well because I'm too much of a clown trying to buy it at a game shop, a local comic book store, is just a ridiculous assertion to make. But again, going back to what really prompted this and talking about the NAs and what games are listed on the NAs, and again, these are just nominations, and then talking about conventions and what actually runs at conventions, which I think is a much better metric to determine whether or not a game system has really taken off. So it gets back to some of your other comments here. So Titan Comics is doing really good with Conan. Yes. Yeah, Zub's Conan is actually really good. I enjoyed them. I've had him on he's commented on some of my coverage of his initial books when they first came out, his initial comics. And I'd love to have him on the channel so we could talk about it. I just have to get caught up on his things. So I'm not talking about, hey, the first 3 to 5, I could talk about what he's currently doing now with it. When I ran Shadow Dark, all my players got their copy at an FLGI. Yeah, they're certainly available now. Yes, in the beginning, they were only sent to select shops. That was on purpose. All right. And then when she did her next reorder of something like 15,000 copies or whatever it was, or 50,000 copies, I mean, it sold. It sold a lot. And there's even more coming out with the new Kickstarter when that releases. So there's at least 100,000 copies of Shadow Dark out there, all right, in the wild or soon to be out there. And people are running the game like a year before the hardbacks came out. They were running it, including myself, from just the PDF and from the quick start. And that's another thing that some of these game systems are doing very, very well. They're running like a rules-like quick start free sample that you can do. And that was like the Arduin, Bloody Arduin at CNY RPG Con. They weren't running from their Kickstarter books. They were running from the free PDFs that you can get from the primers, right? They call it the Arduin primer that you can get. And you can run the game fully from that. So that is something that, that is also not going to show up on the Ennies, necessarily, is like, are people actually running these at the conventions? Because that, to me, is a better indicator of the health of a game system. I think when it comes to Deathbringer, and there's a lot of convention goers here in this chat, typically we are going to see that quite a bit, particularly at the conventions that we go to, particularly at OSR conventions. I'm going to put that invite in there. And so you are welcome to join in there. So Garibay cannot spell marketing, let alone understand it. Yeah, no, he doesn't. And again, I don't want to make this a total, this is a bash on him. I just think that he is looking at the Ennies completely wrong. And also that he really doesn't understand, possibly understand why Cosmere and why Drawsteel didn't get any. And we can talk about that as well. Hey, how's it going? Oh, look, and I got this where the thing is in your face. So let me see.
That's all right. It's a better view.
Let me see how I can
everybody watching
that. All right, I will get rid of the comments from there. So good to see you, Stan. How's it going? Guess what I just ordered this morning, Stan?
What'd you get?
So I got the Monolith Red Nails set that I will have in like 2 to 10 days. So I'll have them. I'll be showing them off. And you're going to ShireCon in September, right?
Yeah.
Right? So I am going to be bringing them to you. So be prepared for a commission of here in 10 days. And and I'll appreciate. I'm not going to give you all of them. I'm going to give you the Conan, the Valeria, the Dragon, the Crawler, and the pole. The pole with the red nails. The teeth hammered into it. So just those pieces. I'll deal with the alligators, the natives, the guys from inside.
When you have a chance, send me the link to that.
Sure.
just so I can take a look at them and
Yeah,
I can figure things out.
yeah,
I haven't seen them yet, so.
yeah. They were kind of on sale.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so it was only like it was. Well, when I say only, the whole set was like $90, and then the shipping was 17. It came out to 107 total.
Oh, that's not bad.
So no, it wasn't bad at all. And I got it direct from their U.S. sales thing. So I was like, all right, that's not too bad. It's a lot of figures. I believe it's like 47 miniatures in
Oh,
it, but
wow.
some of them are I mean, they're large. Let me see if I pull up a picture of it.
Probably some minions and type stuff.
Yeah. It's like so monolith. I'll just bring up red nails. Look, as soon as I wrote monolith, red nails came up. And let's get image.
Yeah, those box games like that, they're a really good way to get a lot of miniatures for a decent price.
Yeah. Oh my
They're
God.
really good.
Some people have done pictures of them already. So let me get a big
Oh, I
picture
bet.
of this. And let's see. Let's see how big this comes. Saved pictures. Why is it up there? Oh, all right. Oh no, that's a WEG file. That's a web file. I have to save image as and then not do all. Ah, crap. Let me do this. Will they let me enlarge this? No. I'll figure this out in a second. Let me close this one. Oh, I know how to do this. Let's do it this way. Save image as, and now it's a JPEG. All right, so monolith. All right.
It's interesting, like you've said this plenty of times, but like talking about what you see played at conventions.
Mm-hmm.
And I worked at a local convention here like a month ago, and they had gaming, but it was also like an anime. It was mostly like an anime, so there was a lot of cosplay and all that stuff. I actually worked for my local game store who's been there, but it's a big con. There's like 4,000 or 5,000 people that show up, and so I worked for 3-4 days. I worked the booth that our FLGS had at the thing, and we did not sell a single Core 5 ebook.
Yeah.
We sold some of the new Ravenloft stuff that just came out. We did sell that, and to their credit, the map pack that they released for that, the battle map pack, is actually really nice. But no, we sold Shadow Dark, we sold Old School Essentials, we sold Warhammer Fantasy Old World, a bunch of like indie solo games and stuff like that, but we didn't sell a single Core 5 ebook.
Are you seeing it now?
Chuckle. Yes. Holy crap, that looks awesome.
Yeah.
That box set was $90.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a good deal.
And it's a solo game too. I mean, you could play it solo, so you can play it with just Conan and Valeria. There's Conan and Valeria over right below the box. You have the dragon, you have the crawler. And then some of the big bads, the leaders and stuff, they seem to be the 1, 2, 3 in the center. And then all of the other minions. They don't show the alligators here, but there's a bunch of alligators as well in the other thing. But like I said, I'll mess with the minions and I'll mess with the things. But yeah, the keys are obviously Conan, Valeria, the dragon, and the
those are cool.
And they don't show the pole here either, the thing, but that's there as well in the big image.
Nice.
Yeah. So yeah, it's an incredible set. Yeah, I wonder why they don't show the pole on that one, because that's a major part of it. Here somebody did the another painter did the red nails, the pole, and Conan and Valeria. Yeah, this is somebody else's. I'll include this on there as well. So let's see if. So you can check that out as well.
Oh, I will. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's great.
So anyway, yeah. So going back over to talking about the Ennies, I will come over here, and I think I can scroll on this here, and I can make this a little bit larger. So I'm not going to deal with the judges' spotlight winners or anything like that, because that's all like you said, the judges probably don't play these games either. So it's always interesting to see who they picked as their next year's judges, which I think is something we can do. Judge candidates. Let's look at that. Actually, that might be a little bit more fun to do. Is let's take a look at who they claim are the judge candidates for next year.
I probably don't recognize any of these names.
So Aurelian London, don't know. Davy Rogers, don't know. Jane Judge. Not a single one of these names comes out to me. Do you recognize any of these names?
I didn't. No.
Yeah. No. I don't know a single name that is on here. Oh yeah, you mentioned the submissions, right? And so, like you said, that here's the submission. So Exalted Funeral was submitted, Death Rattle Games, Pellegrine, 9th Level Games, Leafy Dragon, Studio Agate, twice, I guess. Well, they do 7th Sea. I guess they have 2 different variants of it. 4 different variants of it. That's weird. Dice Dungeons, +1. Yeah, most I don't recognize them. A lot of submissions, but like you said, none of them. Draw Steel wasn't put in. It wasn't submitted.
Wasn't.
And
so instead of taking 2 seconds to look up what was submitted, let's do a dozen videos complaining about it.
Talking
about per the usual. It's insane.
Yeah, James
and contradictory. I mean, because he's done dozens of videos about how awesome Daggerheart is and how it's all this, and the only thing that really killed it, and he's not entirely wrong, is that they didn't use it for campaign 4.
Yes.
But then he turns around these videos and he's like bashing the creator because he made Candela Obscura, which does suck. I've played it, so I come by that opinion rightly. And it's nonsense.
But he learned from the suck.
Right? I played Daggerheart. Daggerheart's by far a way better game than Candela.
Yeah, so he obviously was like, "Hey, crap! I see what mistakes I made on this, and now, I know better now, to go forward." Yep. It's like, I mean, it's unfortunate that people had to spend money, for you to learn that you produce a bad product, but that's the freaking nature of nature of any kind of entertainment hobby. I mean, how many times have we gone into a movie and be like, "Oh my God, this is horrible," and I've actually walked out of 2 movies,
really?
2 movies that, probably in the same year. I walked out of 2 movies. I walked out of Howard Stern's Private Parts, all right, with my then girlfriend, now wife. And I don't know why we went to go see that movie. It was like, oh no, this is not good. And it was called 1,000 Acres, which was another movie. That was a chick flick, and even she was like, "Let's go. This is depressing and boring as hell." And we left. But I mean, those are the only 2 movies I ever walked out. And I
considered it on a couple. I've considered it on a couple, but I have never done that. I've never done that, but I have. There was a couple that I was like, I can leave right now and be okay.
Yeah, games. I've bought probably about like 3 games. I was like, oh shit, I wish I didn't buy this thing. It's garbage.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
and they're not on my shelf anymore. You know what I'm saying? It's like
No, I
they're
get
in
rid
the
of them.
bin to be, you know, to be donated. I'm not even gonna pay to sell it, you know, because I don't think it'll sell. You know, it's just
Yep.
you know, just garbage.
I
But
do that.
and
I
forget
get rid
about
of
like MMOs or, you know, or video games like MMOs.
Mm.
I mean, so many launched. You know, World of Warcraft, when it launched, it was unplayable for about a week. You know, you could not play that game for about a week.
Now the problem is they don't. I don't know if I mean I'm not fluent in that stuff, but like I remember back when you could get um like almost every time a game was coming out, they'd release like a demo and you could play it ahead of time and
Yeah,
be like, oh, okay, yeah, this is good, or
I'm gonna ship this
nah,
back
this
to.
isn't. And they don't really do that. I can remember playing the original Call of Duty demo like a million times because it was awesome.
Yeah,
And I like, couldn't wait for that game to come out. I mean, and they just don't do that anymore. They've lost
yeah.
sight of how to draw customers in, I think. Like,
Well, in our hobby, some of the really good ones, you know, the bright ones, they'll put out a playable, you know, quick start.
yeah.
You know, I mean, Shadow
Well,
Dark did
yeah.
that.
Shadow Dark does,
You know,
yeah. We sold
a
those at
lot
the
of them did
time.
that. I don't
Bundle.
think didn't MCDM, which became Draw Steel, when that first came out, didn't you have to buy the quick start? Or am I
I
thinking of
think so.
Tales of the Valiant? Was you had to buy the
No,
Kickstarter?
I I want to say you did, but I didn't, so I don't
Yeah,
know. I I
think
draw
it
steel, but
was, and it was like, I'm not going to pay for a play test unless you say that when when the beta version, because then the beta version came out and you had to buy that too, and then it's like, and that gave you no credit towards getting the
yeah,
PDF. When the other one thing
you-
sold was like, I was like, I don't get that whole marketing thing, and that's probably ultimately what hurt. It was either Tales of the Valiant or MCDM. I'm not sure which, or maybe it was both. All right, but it was certainly one of those two, and I was like, that's what killed them. You know, the other thing
yeah.
that
I
killed
don't think
Tales
it
of the
was
Valiant.
Tales of the Valiant, although they might have done that. I think what hurt Tales of the Valiant is when it came out and they were just basically doing because at first they were doing a whole new system, and then
Yes,
the OGL
yeah,
thing ended,
yeah.
and then they
I
did
was
decide,
just
and
going
I
to say that.
understand it
Yeah,
from their standpoint, but they just made a 5e hack. I have been told that it's actually pretty good. Like I think Dan
yeah.
has played it, and I talked to him about it, and he actually liked it. But I stopped having any interest in it once I realized it was just because they actually described it as a more powerful version of 5e, and I was like, Jesus, that's the last
Yeah,
thing.
they did. At first level, they upped your power at first level. You
Yeah,
know,
but I guess what they did too, though, is they tamed down the feats. That's what Dan was telling me. Like the
yeah,
feats are not as, especially the ones that were like super exploited in 5e, like sharpshooter and whatever the one that lets you
yeah,
do two-handed damage, whatever it
silver
is. I don't
barbs,
remember.
and those things.
Yeah, they. Oh God, Jesus, that
Yes.
freaking spell.
Um, yeah.
Yeah. So, but I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I think it was Draw Steel. You had to buy the PDF,
Yes.
not even the final version, and it was like,
No,
why
no,
would
you
I
had
do
to
that?
buy like the first two versions of the
Yeah.
testing. I'm like, no, I'm not
Why
paying
would
for
I?
testing. If you
Yeah, I'm
told
not.
me that, yeah, you're going to pay $10 now to see this, the quick start rules. But when the PDF is available, you can take that $10 and put it towards whatever the final PDF
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
Didn't
If
even
you're
do
gonna get
that.
credit for it, that's fine. I got no problem with
It
that.
was
But
like,
like, I
it
don't have to.
reminded me of Windows 95 when they sold the fix. The bug fix was like $30 to fix all of the shit that they screwed your computer for. I was like, no, I'm not paying to repair my computer because of your faulty programming.
Yeah, you guys should be
Um,
fixing it.
I know I just aged myself with Windows 95 throwback, but it was
Yeah.
like, I mean, it was
Well, I'm right there with you. So
days. It was like, no, I'm not paying to fix a mess you made, and I'm not paying for you to learn how to write a game. It's like you pay me
yeah,
to do
no,
that, not vice versa.
yeah,
Uh,
no, I'm not into that.
5E's feats were killing him. Yes, yeah,
Oh yeah.
5E's feats were
Well,
definitely.
now I mean, again, I hate to give them any credit, but nobody ever did it this way. I considered it, but I didn't do it. In the original version of 5e, the
Yeah,
2014 version, they were optional. Now they're not. They're baked into the
yeah,
system. Like you have to use them. But I almost didn't use them in when I ran 5e, but I ended up doing it. And
yeah,
yep, they broke the game in certain cases.
yeah. Yeah, so and that's that's the other thing going back to Jay Scott and what he was talking about with the Ennies and everything. It was like, oh, Wizards of the Coast has never won an Ennie. I was like, that's bullshit. It was like 2015, they won 4 or 5, right? They got the product of the year, the game of the year, all of the prominent ones. And then in 2022, a third party publisher got 2 Ennies, at least
Yeah.
2 Ennie nominations, if not 2 Ennies. And
Yeah, I think there's been plenty of third party 5e stuff,
well,
but
yeah,
official
yeah,
just
and that's
doesn't do
because
most of it.
Wizards of the Coast hasn't made anything good since then,
No,
worthy
they
of
don't.
you know a demonstration of innovation or good
There's
sales
been none
or
from them.
playability, people actually running it. I've only seen, so I've been to 4 or 5 conventions since 2024. All right, or 2025, let's say. Probably more than that, actually. And let's say 7 conventions. I've only seen 2024 D&D on one table. All right,
Oh, yeah.
where I've gone to. Now,
I've seen it.
like in the general area tables. I'm not saying that it wasn't being run in in a separate room where that's all that was being run there, like organized play. I'm talking
Yep.
about you know the free range chicken version of running a game system out in there amongst the 40 tables. I've only seen one time someone running 2024 D&D.
Yeah, I haven't, but all the cons I go to are all OSR slanted, so I'm not surprised that they're not there. But I mean, I've seen 5e, I think, but not a lot. I mean,
Yeah.
I think
Um,
somebody ran, I think, 5e at ShireCon, but I think it was actually the kids table one year where the kids were playing.
Probably last year, right? Not this year. Like this year, Roger
Yeah,
sent me
last year.
the like the listing of
Oh,
games, but it's like not formatted to, it's not formatted. It's like text. It's like a text file, and it's like
oh
a
boy.
wall of text, and it's like to pick it through there and try to pull
Keep
games
Roger.
out from it. But yeah, I mean, you were there and you saw the games that were being run, and
Yeah.
I mean, there was
Yeah.
it was a huge selection of games. No, very few games, unless they were being run by the same people, were duplicate, runnings of things. So
Yeah, no.
like the creators were running their game systems, and they had
Yep.
multiple sessions of those game systems, but you didn't have like myself running one game system and somebody else running that same game system and so on and so forth throughout.
Yeah, I didn't see
Right?
any.
It
I
wasn't
didn't
like,
play any games this year, but I didn't. Yeah, I mean, I checked everything out. I did not see duplications. Like
yeah,
there was
I
a
mean,
good variety of
I don't
just
know if I was
different
the
games.
only one running Shadow Dark. Probably not, but or the only. I certainly wasn't the only one running Hyperborea. You know,
No,
so
yeah, because
our own award voted.
did
I,
Dan?
I like that idea.
Dan
Yeah,
didn't
we
run
should do
again.
our own awards, right? Uh, Voted by various OSR and old school YouTubers. Yeah, no, that'll be fun. All right, it's
It
like,
would be fun.
yeah, that would be
It would
fun.
be
Talk about a contentious thing. That would be crazy.
Oh God, jeez.
Yeah, that would be crazy. That would generate an old school shitstorm like crazy. That
Yeah,
might be fun just for that entertainment value. You
yeah,
know, you
yeah.
know,
Watch a bunch of old guys squabble about
yeah.
what's the
This
best.
game is
I
supposed to
don't
be
know.
included in this. Wait, well, it's not old school. Yes, it is. It's
Oh yeah,
yeah.
there's a
Oh,
neat. Yeah,
that would be hilarious. You
I
know,
love old school style games, but there are times where we can be our own worst enemies.
oh yeah,
Like,
yeah, definitely.
dang,
You know,
You
Yeah,
have to do
definitely
it
our
this
own
way.
worst
No, you
enemy,
don't.
where it's like, especially when we quibble over those like little things,
Yeah,
you know,
stupid.
it's like I just watched the panel, with like Kelsey and Rob Connolly on it and everything. And
Oh, I watched one of
you know,
those too, because
and
Rob was on
and
it.
it was actually, I mean, Kelsey gets it. I mean, she actually
Yeah, she
understands
does.
that it's all about the R and what the R stands for. And I'm like, wow, that's a
Yep.
pretty big you know great understanding of it, and Rob Connolly's discussion of it as well. Any of those like really old school guys, like when Matt
Yeah.
Finch was talking about it, it's like, I
Yep.
want to hear what this guy has to say about it. And he was like pretty spot on with, not getting into like squabbles over what OSR stands for more so, but just like the difference between like it's a, almost like it's a movement and it's design philosophy and going through and
Right.
explaining why that came about, how that came about. Meanwhile, you got some idiot that created, Cairn, saying, well, he almost like he didn't know who Matt Finch was. All
Yeah.
right, that
Well,
was the first thing I was
that's
like,
a red
how do
flag
you
right
not
there.
know who's first of all, how do you not know who's sitting on the panel you're sitting on? I mean, don't you do any freaking research and say, well, let me see who I'm sharing this table with before
Yeah.
you go to it? So that's number one thing. And then secondly, he had no clue who he was. I was like, it's like, how do you not know who this guy is?
I
And
mean,
yet you're
that's,
sitting on an OSR,
and
panel.
then people get mad when they get called tourists, but like
Yeah,
that's tourist behavior. Like you
yes,
don't know. Like,
absolutely.
I mean, I'm not super fluent in everything in the history of this. Like you're way more knowledgeable than I am. And but I grew up playing basic expert D&D, and so I came from that era of games. And but I know who Matt Finch is, and I know,
Yeah,
what he did, and basically got it all started, and figured out a way. So
yeah,
um I saw it actually a great interview on Matt Finch's channel he did with Jeff Talanian.
yeah,
It was really good. That was a good one. And and Jeff is such a stand-up guy.
yes,
He gave him full credit. He was like, if it wasn't for you, like I never would have done what I did with
right.
Hyperborea. You basically showed us, we had the green light to do that stuff. And thank God he did, because I mean, Hyperborea is freaking awesome.
Yeah, I don't know. Chris, it's something I would certainly reach out to a bunch of people and say, hey, do we want to do our own,
Yeah, it'd be funny.
you know, get like 10 YouTube channels to come together. That way we could all be on one screen and just do, all right, this is the 2027, because it'll take us some time to plan it out. This is the
Battle
2027,
Royale.
you know, OSR awards, and see. But yeah, that would that would be crazy. It would be absolutely crazy. I mean, first of all, people will be like, oh well, it's anything, AD&D second edition and previous is what's considered old school. Then you get the people arguing, well, it's only D&D or D&D adjacent game systems, which I don't agree with. You know,
Oh
um,
yeah.
so it's like, yeah, I know it's
I
scary.
definitely
It's scary that
lean
2014
more
is not
towards
old school. It's
like
only
the
11, 12
OSR
years,
is
moving on 12 years old.
the philosophy of what the game's designed around, right? Like that's how I kind of lean towards it.
Yeah.
What is the philosophy of that game design? It doesn't have to be,
Well, it has to be a
a
little bit
copy
old.
of.
It has to be a little. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah, for
you can
sure. Like,
say, unless you're saying, well, this is a retro clone. All right,
yeah,
this is an
no,
old
I
school
mean,
Renaissance game. This is a retro clone. Um,
yeah.
then
I
okay,
like the term
that's
OSR
cool. Then
adjacent
I'll,
too. I've used that a bunch. Like that's what I think Shadow Dark is. I think it's very. I mean, its roots.
its roots is in
I think her
BX, but it is a
motivation was
retro
that
clone.
old
Yes.
style gaming. That's what she wanted to do with a bit more modern conveniences.
Well, actually, she calls
And
it a Renaissance.
succeeded.
You
Yeah,
know, she calls it a Renaissance, which it really is.
and
It's taking the core of the old and adding enough new to give it a fresh
yeah,
appeal. And that's
and
exactly
it
what
worked.
Renaissance means.
Yep. And it definitely worked.
Yeah. Now, revival is a totally different thing, and I've gone over this over and over again. Revival means that you're actually going back and playing the old system. You're playing
Yeah.
that edition of the old system. And role playing is the feel, that again, getting into what the R stands for. If
Right.
something has the feel of old school gameplay, then that is
Yep.
old school role playing or old school rules.
Yep.
Totally
And then
why.
at the end of the day, it's
Classic,
nothing worth getting worked up over. Like, just play the games you want to play and have fun.
not necessarily the system. Yeah, Cognito. It's I mean, yeah, you can get into classic gaming, but I would still keep revival as a separate thing then. Just to set it aside as its own separate thing. No, I'm actually running, I'm actually purposely running Call of Cthulhu Second Edition, and using those rules and not any others, or I'm
Seven.
specifically running Holmes D&D, or I'm specifically running Bushido. Again, I don't say old school is just D&D. It is any of those game systems that are back in the day, or game systems that have multiple editions going through the years. I mean, you could be old school and you're playing GURPS third edition, which still goes back to the late 80s. You know what I'm saying? Or early 90s. So I think they just come out with a fourth edition. It took them like 20 years to come out with the fourth edition.
Of GURPS?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they oh, dang it. He just had a post the other day about it because
Yeah.
something in the caption said for GURPS, the new GURPS said that it was, being
Yeah,
rewritten for the modern.
for fourth edition, and I was like, didn't they already have a fourth edition?
Yeah, I don't
Or
know.
if they
I
didn't,
never
then
played it.
the difference with the time in between third and fourth edition is literally like 20 years.
Yeah. I had one of the guys I grew up playing games with, he got into it, but he never ran it. Like, he bought a bunch of stuff for it. And I'm not a numbers person, so when I just started looking at it all, I was like, I would have played it if you'd have run it, but like there's nothing I was ever interested in. So
Yeah.
and
Yeah. It's
or anything.
well, I played back in the day. I played all the solo Conans. Yeah, the
Oh
GURPS
yeah.
solo Conan was.
Yeah, we didn't have any of that. I would have played that.
Yeah, so I'm looking into it. I can make gold colored chain mail dice bags and have 3 of them. I made it already. Prize. Well, let's see. Let's put the feelers out there, Chris, before you start going, before you start leaping ahead. I tend to leap ahead too, but I will, over this next week, I'll reach out and I'll see if a bunch of YouTube channels want to put together an OSR awards, and see what kind of traction we can do. So yeah, looking at the submissions page of the NEs was, one thing, and then the
All you gotta do.
2026 nominees. Again, most of them are, fairly well known. Let's see if I can go here and let's make this bigger if I can. No, 225 was the highest I could go. 250, I guess. All right, so let's see.
Pendragon's on there.
Yeah, Pendragon was on there. So best interior art. Like, I care about like the, some of these things, like best aid or accessory was Pathfinder's up there for Foundry. Like, that's kind of stuff I'm not really that interested in. Like, I don't care what you're doing with your VTT, to be honest.
Anything VTT, I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah, non-digital, best aid, non-digital. So this, like a Game Master screen. Doesn't say what game system that's for, but
Crooked
Very
Moon
generic, I
Tarot
guess.
card deck.
Or maybe that's one of those ones where you put the slips in, like you could put your own panels in.
Oh yeah, probably.
Best cover art, Book of Spirits, Historical Arcanum.
Yeah.
That one came up a few
Crooked Moon
times,
did.
Historical Arcanum. But again, you know what? Art for me is once you've seen it 100 times, you don't see it anymore. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like when you're
I
as great
I'm
as the art might be, like look at the
I'm
Castles and
different that way.
Crusades cover arts. They're awesome looking, but I've seen them 1,000 times. It's like it doesn't really like wow me anymore because I've seen it too many times.
Yeah.
Um, Best interior art.
Best
Matt's pretty
photography.
cool.
Yeah. That
Matt's
Dolmenwood Matt book
Dolmenwood,
probably
yeah.
should win. That thing's awesome.
Yeah, he didn't like Dolmenwood getting on there,
Oh no.
Jason Garibay because it's OSC and he has
Yeah,
no
and
respect for
it's
OSC.
a Tolkien, and I'm like, you clearly haven't read it then because it's not. You
Yeah, and it's a setting. It's a
yeah.
setting, and so he's like, we have 1,000 settings. No, you don't. And
No.
coming from somebody who only knows of 3 locations in all of the Forgotten
Yeah.
Realms, I mean, everything is Foundelver, Waterdeep, and Neverwinter. That's it. That's the only 3 locations he ever speaks about.
Yeah, it's because it's always read of the current stuff because he just
Yeah, so
spouts off about stuff
best
he doesn't
family
have any
game.
knowledge
Well,
about.
that's interesting. Best family game.
Yeah.
So, because that's how you get people in Dungeons and Kittens starter set by Edge
I'm in.
Studios. Best free game product. So you have Daggerheart there. So that's one of their 5 nominations. Legends in the Mist also got quite a few nominations as well. And I'm not familiar with that game system
Me either.
or the company either. Sun Oak Games Studio or any of the people listed there.
Nope. Nope.
So continuing on, going through. So
Coriolis,
which
really?
I really thought that came out last, like, wasn't it 2024, 2025?
It came out a while ago, but they released new stuff for it, so that's probably
Okay, so that's why
yeah.
it's this core, great dark.
I think
core.
maybe it's a second. I don't want to call it a second edition because I'm not. That's one of the a handful of free league games that I'm not familiar with that I don't own.
Right. I almost backed that when it was first out, and I was like, nah. I've been
I considered it
that I
because I was
backed,
looking
and I
for a
was like, you
science
know what?
fiction game, but I didn't get it.
Yeah, I dropped my backing of something just the other day, and I was like, nah, you know what? I'm going to save myself the $100+ I don't.
Yeah, I've cut back on.
Oh, you know what it was? It was that the Pirate Borg map set.
Oh yeah,
No,
I didn't back
and I've seen it. I've seen it out. Like I've seen people with the different things out there. I played in a Pirate Borg game back at AutoCon back in June. I absolutely loved it. But then when I looked at it, I was like, do I want to spend 160 on this, 160 here, 90 here, and I was like, no. You know what? I'll wait until next year, and I'll just pay.
Pick it up when
I
it comes
see it
out.
at a convention. I'll buy it at a convention. That way I save on the ship. I'll probably save everything I would have kickstarting it as opposed to buying it if I find it in person to buy it.
Yep.
I'm not going to have the ship.
Yeah, I have some of the Pirate Borg. I had
the Pirate Borg. It was fun.
4 books and the starter box set. Cool.
Yeah.
I like it.
So that was the first one in which I saw Thieves' Tome was listed a couple times too. And so then best layout.
Best layout. What's in there? Is there
Warhammer, the old world role-playing game, is the only one that really I recognize.
Yeah,
Warhammer always had nice layout, even back in the day. Like its first edition and second edition, I always liked the layout.
Yeah.
They've always had very good layout and everything.
I had a bunch of the second edition stuff.
Always looked really nice and everything. The art style and everything, I liked it. It was just too much. It was too much of a miniatures game. back in its early iterations. I was like, nah, I'm not really a war gamer. And that's why, because you had to use the miniatures for it. You had to do a facing and,
Oh yeah.
that's when they had the hex bases that everything was on was the hex bases back then. And it was all designed for wargaming. So here, best monster adversaries. So this is something that I think is interesting because you can usually port these over into other game systems. So
yeah, easily.
Wood, their monster book. You have Monsters of Drakenheim, so that's Ghostfire Games, pretty well known. Starfinder Alien Core.
Starfinder seems to be doing really well.
What?
Starfinder.
Yeah, it's getting
I've heard a lot about it. It seems to be doing really well.
Yeah. The Field Guide to Floral Dragons box set. Interesting.
I see Hit Point Press and I usually look the other way.
All right. Best online content. We don't have troll. We don't have troll den painting on here, so it's
totally screwed.
Yeah, totally screwed up. Yep. These guys don't know who they're voting for.
They don't know what they're talking about.
Galarian Map Project.
I didn't know that was a thing. Galarian Mapping Project.
Yeah,
that's cool. Yeah. Galarian's Paizo's
solo RPG
Pathfinder world.
That's interesting. I used to watch that guy Artichoke Dip for solo RPGs.
Oh, yep.
Remember that guy?
It sounds familiar.
Quite a long time ago. I haven't seen anything. I don't know if he's still active or whatever. But yeah, he used to be the solo guy of choice to look at. Best production values. Legend of the Mist, again. Terra Antarctica, Mappamundi. The Crooked Moon.
I might get a chance to play that Crooked Moon. It's a 5e variant, but it does look cool, actually. Like
and they have that
the folk horror
Legends of Adventures. They have a live play that's been around for a couple years, but never really heard of them. I'll
have to check it out.
Scott went on that too. That they have a live play, and it's like, they can't compete with Critical Role, which he shits on all the time too. But it's like,
it's like not everybody is. It's the same thing with his philosophy is like everybody that comes out with a game is trying to beat D&D, and it's not the truth.
Yeah, a lot of times they're not even thinking about it. Listen,
it's not even a consideration for most of them.
Scott, J. Scott Garibay, if you ever hear this part, the only gaming company that will defeat Dungeons and Dragons is Hasbro. They're the only one. All right, and they're doing a lot of what they can do in order to achieve that goal. All right, but they are the only one that can defeat it. All right, and that's it. It's like, but they will slowly continue to lose market share over time, and because I know J. Scott stopped talking about market share because he knows that they're soon going to lose market share, and that's no longer a metric. It's like, but they are the only ones that can do it. So let's see. Best rules. We have Land Once Magic, Daggerheart, Legends of the Mist again, Sickest Witch Core Rulebook, Severed Books. I never heard of it before.
Never heard of it.
A Thieves of the Tomb again. Thieves of the Tome. For Pancake Studios, never heard of them. So really, the only two that I've seen here is Legends of the Mist has been mentioned multiple times. I'm gonna maybe take a look at that and see what it's all about.
I'll have to look up that Thieves of the Tome because that's coming up a lot too.
Yeah. Best setting is Dolmenwood again.
Dolmenwood.
The Player's Guide. A Crime Player's Guide. I'm looking at it here on the screen, not on mine, so it's a little bit smaller. Grim Hollow Guide for Ghost Tower Games. Maybe it's connected
That
to
does
his
look pretty
other game
interesting.
system.
But
Raiko's Guide to the Yokai Realms and Household Volume 2. Best solo game, Odyssey of the Giant, Pirouette, Song of the Script Worm, Spine, a dark solo RPG about losing yourself in a book. Okay, and Bonsai Diary. All right. Best streaming content.
oh boy.
The RPG reviews, one shot last train.
Oh my God, Critical Role's not on there. Danny's must be biased against Critical Role.
Yeah, Critical Role's not on there.
Wait for 10 videos from Scott
They want to make it too.
explaining it.
First of all, they've been on a decline. Number one. I mean, so you really can't say, somebody is the best streaming content when, again, it's not about numbers, because they started at very high, but if they've lost 40% of their viewers, you can't say it's best streaming content anymore.
Yeah. And the other thing is like who's getting entered, right? Like not everybody. Like I watch like streaming content, obviously. Like Glass Cannon guys have some great live plays. They have a really good Shadow Dark one that's their main game right now, and then they're doing a bunch of other stuff, and it's very entertaining. They're not on there, but did they even enter?
Here. Hey, Longshot, how's it going? So let's continue. So best supplement is Legends in the Mist again. I'm just going to go on to the ones that are repeat now. Best writing, monster design. So Making Enemies, Monsters Design Inspiration for Tabletop Role-Playing Games by Gallery Books. I will mention that one. And then
that guy. He's the guy that wrote all those other ones, like the monsters know what they're doing, and stuff like that Keith Amman. I butchered that. Those books, I have those books. Those are actually really good books. They started off as a blog post for him, and then he turned them into books.
Yeah,
I like those books.
Product of the year. So Coriolis, Daggerheart, Dolmenwood, Legend of the Mist, Menagerie of Unbearable Things,
Crooked Moon,
the Bonsai Diary, Crooked Moon, Ultimate Edition, the Field Guide to Floral Dragons box set, the Spark Devil, and the White Horse of Lowvale. And so that's it. So looking at this here, I mean, I could see Dolmenwood beating out Daggerheart here, for the product of the year.
Oh, yeah.
I could probably see that beating out Daggerheart.
If I had to pick between the two, I would pick Dolmenwood.
What's that?
If I had to pick between the two, I would, and I've played Daggerheart, I would pick Dolmenwood.
Yeah, I think Dolmenwood, I think as a whole package, just did a lot more. Did a lot more and gets more gameplay. Definitely gets more gameplay than Daggerheart does. But anyway, all right. So now we can come back over here. We'll stop sharing that. So yeah, I mean, just like looking at some of the things that talking about the Annies and his moaning and bemoaning about who got on there, who wasn't on there, who got more nominations. I don't think he knows the difference between nominations and wins either. Or nomination or wins when there's wins, and wins are differentiated between gold, silver, and bronze, right? Because they do those as well. And it's like, that's why when he was saying, well, 5e has never won anything. No, they won like 4 or 5 golds in 2015. And then they won silvers throughout, up until about 2022 when some of the third party stuff was coming out and winning golds or silvers and whatnot. So yeah, 5e has not been ignored. It's just not getting submitted. And it's and maybe that'll change in the in the future. They might, they're they're apparently at they're at Gen Con now, right? And they're supposed to be doing some big
Yeah, there's supposed to be some big announcement.
at Gen Con, and I know they
I
have.
mean, there's 5e stuff on the Ennies. It's just not from WotC because WotC doesn't
Yeah, they don't
have
produce their
anything
own stuff
worth
anymore.
it.
They're
You
not.
know, they're carrying the name, but
Yeah,
everybody else is actually carrying the weight of putting
yeah,
out good material.
they're
Like
producing
that
their own
Crooked
stuff.
Moon does look good. Like I said, I will probably have a chance to play that. It'll be the first 5e I've played in a long time, several years, but only because one of my very good friends, who's one of the best GMs I've ever played games with, wants to run it. I'm like, we'll run a couple sessions of it. So I'm like, yeah, I'll play it.
Remember, Bear showed
Try it
that
out.
thing last night that actually intrigued me, but I couldn't find it on Lulu. Was that the 5e
Oh
base?
yeah,
You
that
know,
was interesting.
I was like, but I tried to find it because he didn't quite show the name of it. He was like,
Yeah,
here's this like a compilation of the starter rules. I mean, I had a binder where I printed out the basic rules before. What was it? What was that called? Was that called D&D Next? Yeah, it was D&D Next. And I had printed out D&D Next, but you didn't have character creation in that.
Well, that's an issue.
Well, yeah, because it was designed for you just to test the system. The Corpse King of gaming. Yeah. I don't expect World of Warcraft for 5 to be the most amazing award-worthy thing ever. No, it won't, because it's not innovative. All it's doing is it's putting a World of Warcraft skin on 5e.
Yeah.
Hey, we got Dan.
I like this
Hey,
9
Dan.
a.m. hangout. Hi,
Hey,
guys.
Dan, how's it going?
You're convenient.
I know it's about time for you, right? Hey, look, we're wearing the same. We're wearing the same thing.
Damn it! Let me run up and change.
No, you got your Zathakwa shirt on. You're
Yeah, I
Yeah.
got
good.
my sock shirt on.
So
How you guys doing?
good, Dan.
Good, man.
So I was talking. This is gonna be a regular stream for me on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So Tuesday morning from 9 to 11,
Cool.
and then Thursday morning the same thing. It's just that I came up with this idea and I came up with it on Tuesday. So I was like, all right, I'll catch it on Thursday, and then we got a thing because we're talking about the NEs and award shows and everything. And then Chris Moneymaker was like, we should do an OSR award show and invite 10 different or a number of different OSR YouTube channels to come in and actually run an award show kind of thing, which I was like, oh, that'll be fucking fun. Right? That'll be
I think
ridiculous.
to make it even more different though is I think that to vote for a game you need to have played it, not just looked at it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The judges would have to be people.
The judges would have had to play it.
Yeah. The judges will have to be people that there's a chance of knowing who they are. Number one, and the judges would have to be somebody who has actually played the game and then can actually show, yes, I played this game. And the judges would also have a kind of a universal view of what it is. Oh, let me take this call from the hospital.
Uh-oh.
Hello?
He has surgery tomorrow.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
So, how you doing, Stan?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm all right. Don't feel like working today.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you. Glad I'm not.
That's all right. Hopefully, it
I
won't
got
be
up
too
early, took care of my errands, and got back in time to catch this. So I was like, good.
nice.
Mission accomplished.
Yeah, my dogs woke us up at 4 in the morning, and I didn't fall back asleep till 7, and woke up about 45 minutes ago. So, yeah.
Yep.
What I should have done is come down here and recorded some videos for my channel.
Yeah, I got one that I'm been kind of like writing an outline about immersive gaming, my thoughts on it, and
Yeah.
not just actually. I can't say it's my thoughts on it because I've actually been polling like my players and people that I know and that play in different games and stuff, and just their thoughts on it. So it isn't just my random thoughts on it. It's several different random thoughts on it. But
Yeah.
I might record that today or tomorrow.
Okay, I'm back.
Welcome back.
I just had to register
I
for
figured.
my procedure.
Oh yeah.
24 hours before. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like that was my third phone call this morning. Each one is like each component. It's like, well, do you have an estimated time of when the procedure is going to take place? And she's like, well, we won't know. We'll call you back in a couple of hours. She says, but I can tell you tentatively it's like 8:45 in the morning, which is great because my wife wanted it to be early.
Yeah.
So yeah, it should be fun. It's like a 3-hour surgery. They said, but I'll be in like before and afterwards, so it'll be total of like 6 hours, so like an hour and a half, or an hour before and then an hour and a half afterwards, and then they're gonna put me into a private room. So I was like, oh great, at least I can, maybe I can live stream from the private room. I don't know. I don't know. I can
made it.
If I'm really doped up on morphine or whatever, then yeah, I definitely want to live stream.
You definitely need to do a live stream then.
Yeah, I was
Having,
oh, go ahead.
no, I was gonna say, having been on morphine once, yeah, that's the best time to live stream.
Was that on patrol?
No, I wish. It would have made a lot of those patrols a lot easier.
I'll never forget on patrol at the military police. We were dealing with this one guy, active duty guy, who was he was a sergeant, and he was talking up how acid is the drug of the army, the drug of the military, because it only stays in your system for 3 days, so you almost never get caught by a drug test. It was like, so he was like, oh yeah, no, this is the drug of choice. I was like, no, I don't think so, Sergeant. We're good.
Yeah,
We're all
I think
good.
I'm okay. Yeah. Yeah, I got.
Yeah, thank you very much. It should be fine. My only real concern about it is the pain mitigation kind of thing. So yeah, hopefully it's not too uncomfortable. But they said only 2 days, possibly 2 days. So I might be coming home Monday at the latest. So at least it's not going to push into. But I'm still probably not going to run my Tuesday night, Greyhawk Castles and Crusades. Not going to be doing that on Tuesday.
You probably won't want to sit that long.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
I don't know how that works.
Yeah,
My coach had a big thing. He had to have the mesh put in. I don't know if that's standard or not. But
I have 3 layers of mesh being put in.
Yeah. So I mean, he rolls around and trains jiu-jitsu now, so I guess it works okay when it's all healed.
Yeah, I think I'm going to be, and I'm not on my back sleeper either. I sleep on my side. I don't think I'll be able to do that either. So
yeah, probably be fairly uncomfortable for a bit.
Yeah.
Until it gets healed up.
Yeah, I'm not going to be super comfortable for a while.
Anything with the abdomen, you forget how essential your abdomen is.
Yeah.
Like I had my gallbladder out years ago, and they had to open me up to do it. And oh my God, it took me a year to actually fully recover, where I could hang off a bar and lift my legs out without feeling like I was being ripped in half. It was fucking awful. But I never did. I was stupid, they never mentioned, and I never thought of hey, maybe I should go to PT or something and do this. I just kind of grunted through being able to move again and then working out, and it was a horror show.
Yeah, well, my only real physical activities is walking, because I do quite a bit of walking. Even at my job, I'll walk around in between things, but I do a lot of sitting. And so just being in a seated position, my driving is quite a bit of driving when I am working.
Yeah.
So
it's good to get that walking in, because that sitting stuff is killer. I drove a patrol car for 29 years. So it's my hips and lower back and hamstrings are all getting rare. I used to be a really flexible person, but I'm not anymore.
Yeah, that's going to probably be the hardest thing for me, is if I have to, at least for a while, sleep on my back. I've never been a back sleeper,
Yeah.
so that's going to be
I'm all over the
an
place.
interesting thing.
I'm sleep on whatever 4 square inches of bed I get that my wife relinquishes to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, luckily my wife doesn't move in the bed, so I don't have to worry about that.
Oh my God.
I just have to
destroy the
stay on
bed.
my edge, because we have a king size, but we still need like a foot and a half in between us, because it's like, heaven forbid I touch her and only, in her sleep and everything like that. Oh, she freaks out. So I'm like, all right, I will, I'm at the edge. She'll be like, you got to move over. I was like, no, I'm at the edge already.
For us, it's more about temperature regulation, because she's a small little furnace and I like to sleep cold. So like, she'll be all burritoed up, right, in like 10 blankets, and I'm sitting there like, just under no blankets, maybe like, a sheet draped over my foot or something, and that's it.
Yeah. So
I like it cold.
Same.
Yeah, so sleeping wise, I'm not looking forward to having to make any kind of an adjustment to my sleeping habits. As far as sitting is concerned, hopefully I'm able to sit, for a couple of hours, at least in one sitting. Maybe I will have to cut back a little bit on my gaming until that comes back, but probably gonna be back in gaming in like 2 weeks until everything's around, my gaming.
Yeah.
Until the start of September, and then day after Labor Day, I'm going back to work, and then I'll be like, all right. I already got the go ahead. My August 31st week, I'm going to be doing remotely, so I don't have to drive the Manhattan thing. I'm like, oh, cool. They're like, oh yeah, we'll just give you phone calls, and so you can work from home and just do phone calls. I was like, great.
That's cool.
Yeah, not like getting paid, well, for doing phone calls at home. I was like, reminds me of COVID. Oh my God, I made so much money during COVID when the schools were shut down and we were doing, just excess work and everything like that. I was double dipping time, because I was able to teach classes and then do pension things at the same time. I was like, damn. And they didn't care. They just paid us, the union paid us separately from, the school anyway. I was like, damn. And then in the summertime, I was doing like 35 hours of phone calls a week, which was like, that's crazy. I made so much money during COVID.
It's good.
Yeah, it was a good time. Good times.
Good times.
Not how I would describe it, but different strokes.
Well, it was like my work. I didn't make extra. I mean, the only extra money I made was because the government sent us those checks. I was still obviously I volunteered to work from home, but I was not taken up on my offer. And, but it was crazy, because it was like we were the only people out there. And they were very, very hard on us about like the whole social distancing and stuff. So we handled even more calls by phone than we normally did, or like we'd make people come out of their houses to talk to us, so we didn't have to go in, which was great, because a lot of them didn't want to go in there anyway. And but it was really weird. Like we'd be out there and you'd be like all day, and I'm like, I haven't seen a single car out here all day. Like it's just been me. This is awesome.
Chris, the August 5th, I won't be. I can't guarantee that I'll be ready by August 5th. I doubt it. I think next week, the whole of next week, because I might not be coming home until the 3rd. August 5th is out of the question. Yeah, unfortunately. So I'm gonna have to miss that first one, and then I'll catch you guys. Maybe by the following week I'll be able to do it. My test will be Tuesday night when I'm doing my my Greyhawk campaign, Castle Crusades, on the 4th. If I can't get through that, then I'm going to take off that week as well.
Yeah.
I mean, not the 4th. I'm sorry. It'll be the following week. I'm taking off that whole week.
The 11th is the one you're test on.
Yeah, I'm going to take off that whole week. So the following week, I should be able to sit in a chair.
stay ahead of it, on the pain management end. And
Yeah.
Well, on the plus side, my mom's husband did have a hernia repair surgery about 3 or 4 months ago. He's actually doing he recovered really quickly from it. I don't know if he needed a mesh though.
Yeah, they have 3 different ways of doing it. They have like one is like arthroscopic, they do like laser. The 2 that they do have don't require a mesh. Mine requires a mesh, but mine is not just a hernia mesh. Mine has to be a full abdominal wall reconstruction. They basically have to move the muscles back over towards the center and then suture them closer to one another.
Yeah.
And that requires cutting cutting some of their connectors on the sides in order to move them over. That's what I was telling them, because I still have a freaking belly. I'm like, well, if you take the fat out of there while you're there, and they're like, well, no, that's not really what we do. And I was like, that's the whole issue, because it's not really my intestine pushing through. It's the fat pushing through the wall. I mean, I have a little bit of an intestinal protrusion, but the biggest protrusion is fat. That pushed through, and it's like, so I need 2 meshes for the muscles, the abdominal muscles, and then 1 mesh for the intestines.
Sounds like a whole lot of not fun. I hope it goes well.
Yeah, hopefully it goes well.
Same.
On the plus side, you get to spend your last evening hanging out before surgery, listening to the WotC keynote at Gen Con tonight.
I'm not watching that. What?
It glued to my screen.
I had no idea, that's even a thing. Who's their keynote speaker?
Hell if I know.
Well, it can't be the CEO they just fired. It's like
they just had a bigwig didn't they just have a bigwig resign?
Yeah. Their CEO.
Hasbro.
Yeah, the guy that came over from Warhammer.
Oh.
So if they're doing a Warhammer crossover and they just fired the guy that came over from Warhammer, that's pretty bizarre, right? It's like,
that doesn't go over well.
Yeah, it's like, Chris, we're going to play this by ear, but yes, I'm shooting for the 12th. They just, what's his name? Height?
Something like that. I just saw it popped up in my
or something like that. I never heard of the guy before.
Nope.
He worked on he worked on not Warhammer, I'm sorry. He was Warcraft.
Oh.
Yeah, so he was Warcraft. I believe he was Warcraft. And so it's like, all right, so they're going to bring Warcraft over to D&D. They'll do that through Magic the Gathering, most likely. Yeah. Unless they're going to do a source book for
we'll have
for
canon D&D Warcraft now.
Yeah, they'll do a one. They'll do a one shot, right? A one and done.
Yeah.
They'll do a source book and then never mention it again.
Well,
and what they always do, right?
The only horse they want to beat to death is Ravenloft, apparently.
Yeah, that's the only one that they've done.
They keep beating the shit out of that.
They did that, and they did Tomb of Horrors twice, right? They did a return. Didn't they do Tomb of Horrors twice? But then they put that into the Ravenloft world setting, right? Ravenloft is not a freaking world setting. That drives me nuts. I was like, it's not a world. I don't think they did that, though. I think that was wasn't that a 2E thing?
Yeah. I mean,
Ravenloft as a world setting.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Plane of Dread or something like that.
Domains of Dread.
Domains of Dread.
Yeah.
I was part of their money grab time. Yeah. Is it any good?
Domains of Dread.
There's actually a crap ton of cool lore in this book. Like you can start to get into like the Vecna stuff and Kaz and all that, all that stuff. I've actually used this in some of my campaigns. I didn't know those nieces in it.
Which book is that, Stan? I was all tabbed when you showed it.
This is the
Oh,
Domains of
Domains of
Dread.
Dread. Yeah, okay.
Domains of Dread.
Yeah. I just got the drive-through copy, but it works pretty good.
Yeah, that's
I like Ravenloft. I just don't like romantasy current
right.
version of Ravenloft. I
Right.
like we played one of my guys in my group ran us through a few Ravenloft modules. Yeah, and some of the rules were like the mechanics for fear and stuff were like I think a little overly punishing, and I would modify those, but I like the setting. I'm a big, undead, vampire, all that stuff.
Yeah.
I like that stuff. So
I liked it back in the 2E days just because it was different from the high fantasy, like
very much so.
Like normalcy of Greyhawk, Forgotten Realms, Mystara, Birthright. Like they're all like to me as a teenager, right? They're all just really similar. So that's why I gravitated towards like Dark Sun and Ravenloft to a lesser extent.
Yeah, I have a bunch of original Dark Sun stuff. I never used it. We're actually, I think when that GM his turn comes up again for the weekly game, his plan is to run Dark Sun for us.
To be fair, they did take some time to revisit and destroy the keep on the Borderlands with their
Shippers of the Borderlands. Cozy keep on the Borderlands.
Yeah. But that's all they do is they reboot, mess it up, and then don't touch it again.
I think they'll announce something related to Dragonlance because they had that picture a couple months ago of Joe Manganiello and Margaret West and Tracy Hickman with Dan Ayub. Yeah.
If anything, it should be because they weren't looking to do game content for it. They were looking to do a cartoon or a TV a stream.
Yeah, Joe had I like Joe. I mean, I obviously don't know him personally, but like his take on games and stuff, I really like. Yeah. And he did a kind of like, didn't really care, burned his bridges thing with like a video about WotC, and like he had written basically a movie,
a screenplay,
and a screenplay. Thank you.
Yeah,
and he presented it and to like legitimate studios, and one of them was like, this is probably some of the best fantasy that I've seen. And then they lost the rights to do it, and then Wizards, he was going to do stuff with Wizards, and then Wizards out of the blue was just like, nope, we're not doing it. And he went into a little bit, not great detail, but because he talked about Mike Merles and how he's friends with Mike, and how Mike basically got hosed, and people within the company saw it as an opportunity to take his spot.
And at the same time, at the same time, they were they were having that dispute with Tracy and Margaret Weiss. So they were because
they sued him. They had to sue WotC.
Yep.
To get that trilogy that they wanted finished, because they'd written the first book. And then WotC hired a sensitivity consultant, which was a fucking bullshit position. And then they were like sent back like 60 pages worth of rewrites and all this nonsense. And obviously the authors were pushing back, and then they just up and decided, WotC, well, we're not gonna end the project, but we're not going to approve any manuscripts. And so they sued them, like, and they're basically like, well, if you're not approving the manuscripts, like,
I think they won like $10 million from them.
And they were forced to WotC had to settle with them.
Yeah,
because they were wrong.
Yeah, and then they came out. Like I read the first book, and the first book is not good.
Yeah, I have the first two. I read the first one and never finished the second one. I got my first one. Yeah. My friends got it for me at Gen Con. I got signed by Margaret and Tracy, which is great. But I much prefer
the main characters, but it was unlikable.
Yeah, and I mean there was some, I don't know, like I didn't like the 5e version of Dragonlance anyway.
I mean, she was just. I mean, there was moments when, like earlier on, when she was interesting, but then once she got out of the castle and went abroad, she was annoying as hell. I was like, damn.
Yeah, I agree. I didn't finish it. They have a new book coming out, a new trilogy, something wizard or something. I don't know. But
Yeah, right now
we'll
I'm
see.
listening to The Wizard of Earthsea. You know, I was like, let's see, you know, because that was one of the, you know, J. Scott Garabay's other things was like,
Yeah.
oh, they should you
I've
know,
listened to them.
he'll never say put out a new edition because that's what you'd have to do. Is if you're going to change the
It'd be a
magic
different
system
game.
of Dungeons and Dragons, that's a new freaking edition. You're changing the whole game system, what it's based on, you know, and I was like, well, that's a new edition that he'll never admit that that's a new edition.
I was shocked the other day when he actually acquiesced to calling it 5.5e or something like that.
He finally started saying that for, you know, because I think it's pretty clear that, you know, 5e is dead on everything else, and WotC will never call 5e anymore. They're just going to keep on saying 5.5.
Yeah, even the company calls it that. So I'm like,
yep,
an idiot.
Took them long enough.
Well, that's because
no
if
kidding, huh?
you say 5e now, you're not the D&D of today. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that whole thing. So just watch the first WotC live stream from Gen Con. It was a disaster, terrible audio. Then the stream started lagging out, and finally just dropped connection.
Oh, I did see that their new like Dungeon Master show they're running too. There's supposedly they're buying views for it or some damn thing.
I saw that, and they bought initial views for it, and then people were upset. Well, let me back up. People aren't upset. The character sheet channel there, which is basically a cheerleading channel for Critical Role, was like, oh, they have the same cast, but in the next season they're doing like all new characters and different stories, and they were like basically saying like, oh, comparing it to like, oh, that'll never work or whatever, and it's just like it doesn't have to be Critical Role, nor should it be.
Right.
And obviously it's put out by WotC, so yes, they're going to use it to highlight product. They did that way back when Chris Perkins ran
Incorporated.
5e first started. He ran
Incorporated, whatever it was, something Incorporated.
No, this was different than that. This was a different crew. And every time an adventure came out, he ran this. He like strung this all together. He actually did a really good job. I watched it back in the day. Back in the day before he became a total nut job. He ran a good game, and that's what they did. But obviously, it was a product highlight too. You know, I mean, they are a company; they do need to make money, and you know, it's just.
What time is their no one of consequence? When is their keynote presentation? Are you going to talk about their the view buying on Saturday?
Oh, hey James.
Yeah. See you, James.
I tell you to hop on, but I know you're not wearing a shirt right now.
There's well, you see, there's things that you can do. It's not quite like buying subs. There are things on YouTube where you can purchase view boosting. All right. In other words, it's going to boost the signal of it and spread it out and everything. I've never done. I wouldn't do it. I'm not giving them not giving them any money, for it. And but it is it is something that's legitimate. So it's not like you're going and you're buying subs, which is completely completely illegitimate, and it'll get your channel banned. Wouldn't that be a fucking hoot if
that
if YouTube banned, like permanently banned Wizards of the Coast on YouTube? That would be hilarious.
That would be hilarious.
They wouldn't have the balls to do it, to be honest with you. Even though YouTube is YouTube is what, Google?
Yeah.
So I mean, Google could buy Hasbro 10 times over, but
at least,
at least 10 times over. Yeah. You're heading to town shortly.
He's got to hop in his golf cart and go.
Buzz down there.
pick up some of the ladies in the villages.
Yep.
Yeah, he's down down in Florida. Everybody owns a golf cart.
I want to go to Florida, and my sister lives outside of Orlando. So next time I go to see her, I'm gonna swing by James's and go be his wingman.
Yeah.
Try to take him to a few bars, see if I can get him lucky.
Yeah.
You gonna ride shotgun in the golf cart?
Hell yeah.
No, they are buying view boosts. Yeah, but view boosts, like I said, are not buying subs. There is view boosting. I can go to any of my videos, and it'll give me an option. Would you like?
Yeah, they give you the option to boost the video.
All right, that is a feature that YouTube has, and there's a cost to it. I've never actually looked at what the cost is because it's kind of like unseemly to me, but no, it's completely legitimate. It's not like buying subs. Buying subs is illegal. Oh, not illegal, but a break of the
violation of YouTube.
Yeah. Oh, what's that song? Macklemore. You're going to the thrift shop, right?
D&D Vision keynote, 5 p.m. Central tonight.
Oh, so 5 p.m.
6
their
p.m.
time?
6 p.m. your time.
All right, so 6 p.m. my time. I might watch that. I'll see.
We should live stream it and react to it.
Oh, no,
that'd be great.
You'll get a copyright strike.
I don't give a shit.
They'll ban that. Oh, yeah, if you're not monetized, it's fine. But
we can do it on Twitch.
It's not the fact that it is right or wrong. It's about them trying to make it appear. No, I get it, but I'm just saying. I'm saying that's why I don't do it, because I think it's like it's artificially inflating your reach. I'd rather ask everybody watching my channel right now, like, share, subscribe, and hype it if you can, and do all that stuff, than it is, I'll just signal boost it to make sure it gets out there. The only things that I've been doing recently is I've been taking my and again by request, someone asked, "Hey, your Castle Stage playlist, can you make that a podcast?" And it's a very simple process to do, and it doesn't alter the video itself. I think it just puts it out as an audio. But when I look at the podcast, I still see the visual of it anyway. But I guess they have the choice of switching between audio and visual, so they can actually shut down the visual part, and it'll run audio. I don't know if the audio on a podcast skips over ads. So I don't know if podcasts skip over ads.
I have no idea.
Yeah. But what I also did was, like, this live stream, I turned off ads while I'm live streaming, because I know some people, like, came on and he was like, "Hey, I'm getting too many ads," even though it was set on low. So when I live stream, I turn the ads off. But as soon as this live stream is over, then I'll switch them on for the replay when it comes later on.
So is as a relative newbie, or podcast just a thing? Can you convert a video to a podcast and it just strips out the audio? How does that work?
No, what it does is it gives them the choice to switch off the visual and switch it to audio only. And I guess it also will. I guess it'll also like streamline, because I've asked the question on YouTube, what's the difference between the two? It also puts it into a different category of following, and it'll even put it into different places as well. Like, it'll post it in other podcast carriers.
Okay.
So it'll go into. It doesn't go into Spotify, but I guess it could. But it does go into other carriers that Google also owns. But it put it in a whole category of, because people will search for just podcasts.
Right.
They like to listen to them in their car. And I was surprised that the person asked me to put it put my castles and crusades, because those are all long form videos, into podcast mode. I could see like my little 3-minute ones as podcast, which I did too. I changed my shelf tour into podcast as well. But I'll see what I do with. I had the option of doing this as a podcast, and I'll just do it as video now, and then later on I'll switch it over to podcast. So it'll occupy both. 36K subs shows me they have 500,000 views. For the Game Masters thing. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, if they have that many, well, no, because you're getting views from other people too, that are just passing through. So I get a lot of views from non-subscribers. So that's not a fair, like, real judge. Now I don't think that they have 10 times as many, passers through than they do subscribers, but there's certainly a difference in that.
Oh, now I gotta make a thumbnail.
That was a good video you and Erudite did the other day, Dan, talking about Hyperborea. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, he wanted to ask me some questions about the Gazetteer. It was a good time. It was
yeah, that thing's great.
I love it. It's so good. I was trying to like walk the line of showing a little bit to kind of entice people without being like, here's the entire book. So
right,
I think
that's tough. Like I got asked to do a review of the Dungeon Dweller RPG that Reaper Miniatures put out. And I did a thing about the setting book that's in it. That was easy. And then I started to do one about the player's handbook. And I was like, oh my God, like I've never done anything like this before. And it was like, I don't know. To me, it felt like too much of it. I was like 20 something minutes in. And I'm like, I haven't even got up to spell casting, which I think is one of the more interesting aspects of that system. And I'm like, and then I fucking scrubbed it. I was like, nope, this isn't good. So I don't know. I'd like to revisit something like that, but I definitely don't have I haven't done it. So it's like,
fair enough.
So it's good though. Like, that was good. Like any video about Hyperborea gets watched by me. So, cause it doesn't get enough love, but
I agree. I have plans to make many, many more now that my crazy June and July are finally coming to an end.
Nice. I like the little snippet that he has. I don't know if it's in the player's book or the referee's book, but there's one. It's basically like a bullet pointed, like this is what the players would know about the setting, and it really like condenses it down to like you said, you don't need to know every last thing about the setting to run it. And that's one of the things I think people find daunting. I know I do. You look at like a pre-written setting, you're like, holy crap, I got to try to take all this in. And you're like, no, you usually don't.
Yeah, he did a really fantastic job of just giving you like little bite-sized pieces that have just enough flavor to kind of set the mood. And then if you want to delve deeper, you can.
Yeah. I like that stuff. Like you find a nugget and then you're like, well, wait a minute, what is this about? So then you go down that rabbit hole of like trying to find out everything about this. And like you guys mentioned that, I don't remember the name of it, but there's that island that you mentioned that's like way off towards the edge of the world. And I remember reading about that. Because I did read a little bit about that island when I don't know how I got on that. I think I was just looking at random spots on the map and then it would look them up and be like, oh, okay. And if I remember right, that's kind of like a place of entry.
Yeah. So we talked about two. We talked about Sharath, which is the only piece of land connected to the Black Gulf. And then we also talked about a little bit about the floating island of Paradoxon, which is actually like an island out in the Black Gulf. in like the southwestern quadrant. But yeah, it's just I love how Jeff designed the system.
Yeah,
It's just so good.
I'm a big fan.
Yeah, did he say when that Kickstarter is going to go, or when the crowdfunding is gonna
Likely
happen?
sometime in 2027. He's not committed to an actual date or time period
Yeah.
or like even
Have a
rough
good one,
estimate.
RP Grandpa James.
Later, James.
Yep.
Leave some ladies for us, James.
Yeah.
Isn't it the case that books are sometimes transported to Hyperborea from Earth for time to time?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
The in the book, if you read it, there's a note that there's when you read the in the player's book, when you read about Romans as like one of the races, it mentions there's not many, but they keep showing up. So they're trying to unite and like make a Roman city.
And doesn't it say like the Vikings like were originally like Eric the Red and stuff?
Yeah.
That came and
the Vikings
from
were from Old Earth. Yeah. So like I've made a Viking character and I'm like, yeah, these new guys are cool, but he still likes Odin.
I think that if I run a Hyperborea campaign until the Comorian setting box set comes out,
Mhm.
I'm going to run it in Robert E. Howard's Hyborian Age.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to pick up that. I know they have some other stuff, like they have the Tower of the Elephant thing. Stan, you got to take a look at that one too. The freaking elephant in the throne is insane. How cool!
Oh, yeah, I got to look at those guys.
Yeah, that's insane.
Because I am planning to run Hyperborea, and it's in contention as it's on the list of possibilities. Like after my CNC game ends, is what I run for my next campaign is one set in Hyperborea. So like, I like that. I like that there's some crossover from Hyperborea, like of the monsters, but then there's also its own stuff. And so now I look at like, oh, what is like a good Hyperborea monster? Like a lot of the Ardawan stuff would work really well. I think, the freaking tentacle armed gorilla and the fucking mouth arm and all this weird stuff that they have that is just really neat. That's why I bought that stuff at CNY, is because I'm like, oh, I could use this in Hyperborea.
Yep.
The Reaper RPG or the Reaver? I have not heard of Reaver.
I think he means Reaper.
No, I think he.
Oh, there is a Reaver.
Less Gonzo.
I think there might be a Reaver.
I have not heard of that.
I might have actually heard of that. I mean, amongst all the hundreds of other RPGs I see.
Yeah, it's hard to keep up.
Coming across my view, I think I have heard of Reaver.
I have not heard of Reaver.
Yeah,
I do like Swords and Sorcery though. I have a type when it comes to RPGs.
There's one on Drive-Thru, and I always forget the name of it. But the guy, it's supposed to be like a more sword and sorcery game, but he based it on Castles and Crusades, but it has like its own, I don't know, setting, all that stuff. I have it in my wish list at some point, but I've heard good things about it actually from people that have it. They liked it.
That's what
it's more sword and sorcery than high fantasy.
Their world setting, Aird it's just so dense. It's like so much reading to do to get into it and to try to figure it out and everything. I'd rather. That's why I run Castles and Crusades and Greyhawk. It's like
the problem is Steven has this weird fetish for just walls of block text.
Yeah.
He's mentioned it in videos that if he had his way, most of the books would just be walls of text, and everybody's like, nobody wants that except you.
Yeah, nobody wants that.
Makes them difficult to parse. It's annoying.
Nobody's got time for that. Right? You ever see that?
Nobody's got time for that.
That GIF, yeah. Nobody got time for that.
If I want walls and walls and walls of text in the books that I read, I would do a what do you call those guys? DCC.
Yeah.
But That's just me.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's called Swords of Chaos by Black Spire Fantasy.
Never heard of it.
No.
Yeah, I
And
let's see.
You said Reaver RPG.
Internal server error. Let me try to go to Black Spire Fantasy.
I put it in the chat, our chat.
Oh, I have seen this. Reaver it's also on Drive Through RPG
Oh, okay.
by Raven God Games. Reaver, sword and sorcery role-playing game, 4 rule books. It is 390 pages, and I, for some reason, don't see what the cost is. It's a zip file.
He's talking about Steven Chenault. He owns Trollord Games.
Yeah.
Shellback.
My gosh, how far do I have to go?
Oh, nope, I haven't seen that. Reaver. Oh, I'm looking at the quick start, which says pay what you want.
All right, let's add it to my cart. I have to add it to my cart to see how much it costs. I've never seen that before. Let's see. So let's see. It's only $12.59 for the zip file. It's not terrible.
It's better than a lot of things these days.
Yeah, for 300 pages, 390 pages, $12.59 is fairly reasonable.
Yeah, decent. Well, that's a zip file. I don't want that. I like the cover.
Let's see. Let's see.
I need enough games I can't get to the
What did
table.
you say to the table?
No kidding. I'm trying to put a moratorium on not.
Something same time you did. Oh, what's that? Did you say something, Dan?
Oh, I was just trying to do a moratorium and not buying more systems. I've got plenty of systems.
Yeah, that was another thing I mentioned.
But
I was like, no.
If I didn't run Hyperborea and I wanted to do like a different sword and sorcery, I'd use Tales of Argosa.
Yeah, no, I'm taking a break for a while. Because I'm still waiting on a bunch of I'm waiting on like 8 books from Trollords. You know, all of those Gygax world building books.
Mm-hmm.
I'm waiting on Shadow Dark's Western Reaches.
I'm waiting on that one.
I think I got pretty much everything else. Well, I'm waiting on Toon. I think that's it. So
there's only a couple like RPGs that they're not even new RPGs. They're like Chromarium. I'll definitely back because it just adds to what I already have. And then Greg Gillespie put up an announcement for his setting book, Northern Reaches. I'll back that. And there's a miniatures Kickstarter I'm looking at.
Bundles that up with a revised edition of Dragon Slayer, because that still needs some tweaking, to be honest.
Yeah, we've been using it right now in our weekly game. I enjoy it.
Do you use a combat matrix from a different game?
Yeah, my son actually he's running it, his game. He uses the OSC one. He just got the new OSC GM screen, so
so did I. Yeah. So and it's like if I have to use if you're putting out a rule book, all right, and it requires a combat matrix, it needs to be included in the book.
Yeah. Dragon Slayer doesn't have the combat matrix in the book?
No.
It has the formula that you use to calculate it. I don't want that. I want the combat matrix. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's one page. It's like, but yeah, I have to use OSCs when I'm running that game, or the one from BX. I was like, put it in the damn book.
Seems reasonable.
And there's other things too that need to be. There's no character sheet in there. It's like put a character sheet. There's no character sheet in Dragon Slayer.
That seems wild. Counterintuitive. Not that I'm a game designer.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think there's a character sheet in there.
Yeah, right in the front.
Really? Okay. Why didn't I buy? But there's no combat matrix.
There is no. You are 100% correct. There is no. I mean, I like it.
Yes, and again,
it's kind of like I went back and I used to always say that like 1E D&D was my favorite version of the game, and then when I went back and looked at a bunch of stuff, I was wrong. Like my favorite version of the game was like basically Red Box Basic Expert. And this kind of reminds me of that, and with some some tweaking with the house rules of his classes and stuff. I like the classes, at least the ones that I've messed around with. And I'm interested in his setting because I like reading. Like I have all of his mega dungeons, and then some of the mega dungeon monster manual. I have that too. So there's some stuff that's like specific to it, and that stuff just really grabbed my attention.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, I want to know more about.
Is that a separate monster manual? The mega dungeon monster manual?
Yes.
All right, that I might be interested in. Yeah, he had that at CNY.
Yes.
Yeah, he has. So this is the older version he has a newer one. The same content. It's just got like a monochrome cover.
All right.
So this has stuff that made it into the mega dungeons, but didn't
get into the book.
Dragon Slayer, I guess.
Yeah, I like that. I like some of the monsters in the mega dungeons. The mega dungeons have some, pretty cool undead stuff.
And I'm a sucker for art. I mean, the reason I have Dragon Slayer, I had no interest because I was just starting to run CNC, and I was like, I'm all set. I don't need an OSR game. And then he was on, Greg was on Double D's channel, and he showed off the Eastern cover for the Kickstarter. And then I was like, well, crap. I had to back it because I'm a Jeff Easley fan. So I got this cover. And I love the interior art with the monsters. James Kennan is one of the primary artists. He did all the monochrome covers. He's awesome, and I just love it. I really. This is another one that may be my next campaign system. I'm keeping like this list of possibles.
What's next online? Yeah,
because I want to run something a little bit different. Granted, they're all D20 based systems, but then I have stuff on my list like Dragonbane too, like if my players want to try a longer version, long-term campaign with that.
I'm going through my list of things on my shelf first, and then I'm going to start thinking about, there's probably about 60% on my shelf that I've never run, and so I want to start picking out maybe two systems or three systems that I want to run per year, unless I do a lot of one shots, which I might actually do as well. I definitely want to run the modern military things from Amazing Adventures.
Okay.
And doing those things. So I definitely want to do that. I'll get the new monster manual, that they have coming up for Amazing Adventures. So I will get that from Troll Lords. I do want to run Dropship. That was a lot of fun to play too. I do want to, once they're available, or next time I go to a convention, once the Arduin has their, Arduin, Bloody Arduin out, I'll get that.
My son's getting that.
Yeah.
See, back to Kickstarter.
I may run Barrows in Borderlands. That's certainly something that's kind of on the thing. Although I might do Barrows in Borderlands and set it in Chult, to combine that up, because I think that they'll match up pretty well.
I can see that.
Even though Crimson Dragon Slayer is actually a very, very simple game system, and it's really written for Chult. It's just not very. it's too simple, I think, and I think I'll be able to do more with Barrows and Borderlands set in Chult.
I could see that.
And then what else do I have that I just have not?
Oh, I got a ton of stuff.
I got so
That
much
stream
stuff.
we did the other night.
I got so much stuff
Rogers,
that I haven't, you know, I says
much.
on my shelf, I have things that
Right.
I've never played, I've never run, and I haven't even gotten around to reviewing yet. So it's like, that's another reason why I want to kind of stop on buying so much stuff and just be like, all right, you know what?
Yeah.
Let me just enhance the game systems that I am running. That's why I was like, oh, I gotta get, you know, the red nails, the red nails figures, you know, and you know, the miniatures and you'll really enhance that, you know, that presentation at a convention, because that'll be awesome.
Oh, sure.
Pull that thing out there, bro.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, Jason did that. I have a bunch of Skyrim miniatures that I painted, and I let Jason borrow them.
Yeah.
From because he ran Chubby Funster's Skyrim version of Shadow Dart.
Yeah.
Shadow Rim, and he used the miniatures. And he's like, "Yeah, it went over pretty good."
Right. Well, yeah. If I give you them at ShireCon, like once you take a look at it, if you think it's possible, if you could have them ready by CNY.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And then you can play in that game, and I'll have you play that one. So
Yes.
you can play in the thing, and I'll be all right. Stand.
Well, actually, it was funny because that was an indirect marketing tool because at CNY, I brought miniatures that I painted for George Hardy,
Right.
and then so I gave him the miniatures. He commissioned me to paint, and then he bought like a couple of my miniatures that I had for sale there, a couple of the trolls, which was great. I really appreciate it. And then one of his players actually, after the game, came over and bought one because he liked them.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, that's awesome. Thanks.
George plays in my Tuesday night Castles and Crusades game.
I saw that. That's awesome. I've played in one game. My first year, the first CNY, I played in George's Castles and Crusades game. And I got to hang out with him a bit more this year, which was nice. I hung out with him the first year too, but it was super loud at the bar, so it was killing me. But good guy, real good guy.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be a lot of fun having him in that group. He's playing a paladin, so I want to see how he's.
Oh, awesome.
You know,
Ultra Magnus George. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know him from the Troll Lord Discord. I've
Yeah.
talked to him a little bit, not a whole lot, but seems like a good dude.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, George is.
Yeah, so it'll be a lot of fun. I just got to make sure my players. So I have another player in the group that played a paladin before, so they kind of know how to act around paladins and whatnot.
We've never. That's the one class that we haven't had in my CNC game. I think one of the players in my group, he doesn't play with us much anymore. Hasn't played in a long time. I think his second character might have been a paladin, but he only maybe played in one session.
Yeah.
So we never got to see that one. Probably.
Yeah.
I mean, I have an NPC paladin, but actually, I don't even think he's a paladin. Maybe he is. Shit,
Maybe not anymore. Right?
No. He might not be. He might be a knight.
Wayward, and he fell from the path.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was one of the few that we didn't have a player play. We didn't have really any duplicates that I can think of, but like with that one, we didn't get that one.
Yeah.
Or the bard.
Yeah, I have so my rogue character, the rogue character in the group that died, he just re-rolled a new character, and he's going to play a knave from the companions, you know, from the from the companion compendium, right? Which is a third party, I believe. It's a third party product for Castles and Crusades, but it's pretty cool. And I was like, you know what? It's like you only choose 4 of the rogue classes, rogue skills, and then you're supposed to get them later on. But I was like, you know, I don't want you to be a magic user, you know, rogue that is eventually going to be like almost like a dual class kind of situation. Then just play a dual class. So then he was like,
Right.
"Oh, how would I go with this?" And he says he's thinking of playing a gnome. And I says, "Well, it doesn't really say you get magic spells, and it says like arcane magic." I says, "But it doesn't say that you can't be an illusionist and use illusionist spells." And they get very, very few of them. So it was like, "Oh, that
Right.
would actually work out pretty cool." So he's going to go with that. So I allowed that. So I have
Nice.
like five of the 8 players are playing non-standard character classes. So that should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, we didn't use any of those other classes. I'm not. I didn't read them all, but I think one of them I might have let in would have been the archer, because I had a guy that was into that, but he made a really good archer out of the fighter
Yeah.
class. So
Well, the arcane thief is a really cool class. I like the magi is really the elf magi is basically a fighter magic user from D&D BX. So that's that's racist class. The warrior priest is an interesting class too. Just much more of a combatant than a healer. But they do have minimal healing. And then I always forget what the other one is. Well, now I have the name, so that'll be interesting to see how he plays that out. But looking forward to it. Always looking forward to that Tuesday night game. Thursday, I might be playing tonight. I might be playing. We'll see how many of my BX players come. I think I got 2 more coming on. One's going to play a thief, and the other magic user. So the party will be fleshed out. A full 5 players and 4 of the classes, all 4 core classes covered. And we'll see. We'll see how they just got to the keep last session. So.
nice.
All right. I am going to wrap this one up, guys, because my wife and my daughter should be on their way home from school. Let me just check and see if they are driving. Yes, they are driving. So I'm going to wrap this one up, and then I'll look to catch Shadow and Son at 12 o'clock. Maybe I'll pop in there a little bit and say hello. And then, 6 o'clock tonight, maybe I will watch the keynote and see.
Hopefully they get their tech issues figured out by then.
Right.
A shit show, and that'll be funny, of course. If they don't,
That would be pretty funny.
Is today the first day? It's Thursday, right? So it's
Yes.
probably the first day.
Today's the first real day of Gen Con.
Yeah. So, wow, you don't have it rolling by the first day.
Well,
You need a better media person.
yeah, they do.
Yeah. Yep. Talk to you later, and I will talk around and see if anybody else is into doing an OSR awards thing. We'll challenge the Ennies. Yes, we'll be trying to defeat the Ennies, right? Because that's the only thing you can do if you're making something new. It has to be in competition with something else that's already out there.
Right.
You have to
Can't just make it.
Yeah, you can't just make it, for
Right.
the love of it. You have to make it to defeat something else.
Based.
So, Dan, I will let you show your flashcard before we leave.
Oh, yes, of course.
Yes.
Of course.
Yes.
Shit. Got it. Haven't used it all day. Not used to using it in the morning. There we go.
Morning dosage.
Well,
Carlos,
Rich,
Dan, you wanna boost your everybody? Make sure that you follow both of these guys' YouTube channels. So if you're only with me, you should be with them by now, and vice versa. If you're watching them on and joint streaming, come on over. Welcome. And internet is king of derivatives. Yes. So check out everything that those guys are doing as well on their channels. And Decado is open for commissions, right?
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. Need something painted, hit me up.
So
Either on YouTube or I have a Facebook page too. So
yep.
Troll Den Painting on Facebook. So if you need anything, let me know.
And Dan is the final arbiter, and his YouTube channel is
Dan the Final Arbiter, and
Dan the Final Arbiter.
I do Hyperborea stuff, and I'm even going to eventually, at some point, actually have more recorded content than just one video. So now that my life is calming down, but I did want to say two things.
You have good stuff on there though, because you have an interview
Live streams.
with with the guy that wrote the module that you're running, Zambia. That was awesome. You had
thank
Jeff
you.
on there. That was freaking awesome, dude. That was great.
Yeah. So,
Good stuff.
but Rich, what we should do, if you're up to it, let's just hang out in your Discord and watch the stream tonight, so we don't have to worry about copyright strikes and shit.
Oh yeah,
and we can just kind of react to it. I think that'd be fun.
How does that work? I've never done a Discord hangout.
You just join a voice channel and talk to people, and like someone can stream the
you can stream it right to the thing, and we'll just blow through that.
Yeah, that'd be good, because I don't have to worry about copyright nonsense.
Yeah, no, I guarantee you they will.
Yeah,
they'll be assholes about it.
Can we
Pinkerton
give it the Mystery Science Theater 3000?
Yes, absolutely. That would be great. And I would love it if the Pinkertons showed up at my house. That would be hilarious.
So would I.
I would get so many subs.
And they would also not leave the same way they showed up.
I was thinking the exact same thing.
Yeah.
They'd be leaving in a different vehicle than they arrived in.
Yes, they would.
So,
all right, guys, you all have a good one.
Take it easy,
everyone
Thanks,
watching. Thanks for stopping in, and I'll definitely jump in later on this evening and in your Discord, and we'll watch it.
Okay,
cool. Sounds good, guys. Take care.
Later, guys.
See y'all.